Do you guys remember this card right here? The Legendary Fisherman. They gave it support. What's up, guys? So for today's video, we got a Legendary Fisherman deck. Like I said, he did get some support. He got Legendary Fisherman number 3 and 2. So we're gonna go over this little deck profile here. This I gotta say, it brings back memories. If you guys remember the original Yu-Gi-Oh, Duelist Kingdom, Mako Tsunami, this was like his boss creature. So they gave him some support finally. So maybe M-Cole40 was right. Maybe Gate Guardian will be getting some support in the future. We'll see. But let's go through this deck profile pretty quick. We got the one Hyper Ancient Shark Megalodon. Love this card. Any water decks you're playing, you should probably be playing one. 3 Legendary Fisherman number 3. When this card is special summoned, you banish all monsters your opponent controls, and this card can attack, can't be destroyed by battle, or card effects, also unaffected by spell and trap cards. Once per turn, you can return as many of your opponent's banished cards as possible to their graveyard. If you do, the first battle or effect damage your opponent takes is doubled. So pretty much it's a win con in its own. Like if you have a couple of other creatures on your board and you drop this, you banish their stuff, you put a whole bunch of their stuff back in, and then you just double your damage for the first strike, and then hopefully go for the GG. 3 Abystius for the discard 1 water, special summon this card, and then it lets you search out for another Mermail, level 4 or lower. So usually you're going to be searching for your Abyss Lung here, because your opponents can't target face-up water monsters for attacks except this one. So if you get both of these on the board, your opponent can't attack you. Also, it boosts your water creatures by 300, so that's always good. 3 Legendary Fisherman number 2. This one is very, very similar to the original Legendary Fisherman, except if this face-up card is destroyed by battle or leaves the battlefield because of an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 level 7 water monster from your deck to your hand. So you're going to be searching out your Legendary Fisherman number 3, generally with that. But also, just like the original Legendary Fisherman, when Umi's on the field, this card's unaffected by monsters. I believe the original one was unaffected by spells. So maybe they'll come out with one that's unaffected by traps. Well, I guess Legendary Fisherman 3 is unaffected. But, you know, the original Legendary Fisherman, good old school card, man. Good old, that 1850 attack, man. The good old days of 1850 attack. When Yumi's on the board, it's unaffected by spells and cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. So as long as you got Umi, so your Legendary Ocean in this case, on the board, your opponent can't attack this, but they can attack you directly. So as long as you have other creatures, you should be fine. Your 2 Warrior of Atlantises to search out your field cards. You're also running the 1 Terraforming down here. Same deal. 1 Turge. When it's normal summoned, you can discard water monster, target 1 level 3 or lower water monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So you're usually going to add your Linde. 2 Pikes. Pikes just really good. You can search your Linde from your deck. 2 Lungs. I went over the Lungs already. 2 Lindes, because when this card is on the field, it's sent to the graveyard. So if it's destroyed, special summon 1 Mermail from your deck. I accept this card. So generally, you want to get this out, let it die, special summon this out, and whatever you have to do to win the game then, because all your water monsters are going to be getting a boost, and your water creatures can't be targeted for attacks except this one, and this one's got a pretty big 1800 defense. I know that's not crazy good now because of how quickly a lot of decks can spam 3 grand attack creatures and stuff, but for this deck specifically, it's pretty good. All right, that's for the creatures. For the spells, we're running the one Regeki, two Morea Greeds for that draw ability, one Monster Reborn. Now, there's probably a better card you can play here for this, but I really like this card. Kind of gives your opponent the um, choice of 3 target monsters in your graveyard, but you get to special summon them when they choose. So let's say you get 3 legendary Fisherman number 2s in your grave. You give them this. You target 3 of these. What they're gonna do? They have to choose one. You know. One Feast of the Wild. Special summon up to 2 level 5 warrior type monsters from your hand or your graveyard, but their effects are negated. Also, the rest of the turn they cannot attack. I'm only playing one of these because the only card in your deck you can target with this is your Legendary Fisherman number 2 and your Legendary Fisherman, the original one. And if you have Umi on the board, the only time this card's really going to be live is if you don't have your field card or if these are in the grave. So I don't think there's a need for more than one. The one Terraforming, search out your field cards. One Monster Reborn, it's at 1. I never thought I'd play Yu-Gi-Oh! At a point where Monster Reborn was legal again. One range of the Kirishin. If Umi's on the field, target monster your opponent controls up to the number of water monsters you control whose original levels are 5 or higher, destroy them. And if you do, the zones they were in cannot be used until the end of the next turn. So pretty much, as long as you got your Legendary Fishermans on the board or your Abystius on the board, you will be able to remove some of your opponent's creatures. You could play more than one of these, but I figured it's a little situational because you don't know if you're definitely going to have these or not, or if your opponent's going to blow it up. So you would hope you could run more than one. I'd probably run, like, get rid of Monster Reborn, and play one more of these, but it's been working. 3 Legendary Oceans, your field card. All water monsters gain 200 attack and defense, and reduce the level of all water monsters in both players' hands and on the field by 1. So that means you'll be able to drop this without sacrificing. You'll be able to drop that without sacrificing. This will only cost 1 sacrifice, and that'll cost, well, your 1 Legendary Fisherman. And yeah. So that's it for spells. For traps, you got 2 Heavy Dust Storms. Not crazy about this card because you cannot conduct your battle phase. I mean, I guess you do it on your opponent's turn. You should be fine, but still not crazy about it. 2 White Howlings. If you control a water monster, target 1 spell in your opponent's graveyard, banish it for the rest of the turn, negate all spell effects on your opponent's field. It's a really good card. 2 Sea Stealth Attacks. Now, this is another one of those cards. When it's activated, you can activate 1 Yumi from your hand or graveyard, so it lets you reuse your field cards because this card's name is treated as Yumi always. And then it gets one of 2 effects. So at the once per turn, you can banish 1 water monster you control until the end phase. This turn, phase up spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent. At the beginning of the damage step, if your water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, destroy the monster. So, not a bad card. And 1 Call It a Haunted. Obviously, Call It a Haunted is Call It a Haunted. Everyone should know what Call It a Haunted does. Extra deck. Now, this is the fun part here. The 1 Draco Sack. This one is totally optional. I only put Draco Sack in here because I really love Draco Sack. It's one of my favorite Xyz monsters of all time. 1 number 11 Big Eye, 1 Ragnar Zero, 1 Silent Honor Arc, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Totally Awesome. The 1 Nightmare Unicorn, the 1 Phoenix, the Nightmare Phoenix. The 1 Water Charmer, I don't know, or 2 Water Charmers, I'm sorry. I don't know if we got this in the TCG yet, but I'm pretty sure we did. the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and the 3 Mr. Boys. Pretty self-explanatory. So guys, that is the legendary Fisherman deck profile. Let me know what you guys think down below. Obviously, this isn't a highly competitive deck. This isn't going to go tier 1, I don't think. But it's still a really fun deck to play, really fun deck to see. And old school card like Legendary Fisherman getting some play after all these years. Why not? Also, give the video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because we do all types of Yu-Gi-Oh content. And you don't want to miss any of it. Also, click on the bell so you don't miss when I upload a video. And I'll see you guys later.